So I'm a high school dropout. I live in Alaska, and recently just quit my job. I'm 16. I turned 17 this month, and I was working at McDonald's for about 6 months. I was making about 800 every 2 weeks. That was 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And I quit. And once you quit, you take that time off, and you're like, yeah, I need to get a job. So, I was looking, I went out on Indeed, worked at Sonic for 2 hours, quit. Got several job offers for other fast food. I'm just like, I know I'm 16, but this can't be it for me. And this isn't one of them stories where it's like, oh, he quit his job and now he's rich. No, I'm running off my last $150, and I bought pizza. And it's just, it comes down to like, how does a high school dropout, kind of make money? And where do you work? Well, for starters, it's like, I know I'm 16, not even 18, so there's already less opportunity for me. But what happens when I turn 18? It's to the point where it's like, you know, there's still these 30, 40, 20-year-olds working in fast food places, making same pay as when you get on there. And it's hard to think about. It's like, if you graduated high school, why are we working the same job for the same pay? And this is supposed to be a stepping stone for me. And it's kind of crazy. There's people who work at McDonald's. One of the many managers who were working there for many years. He's working there for 11 years and only makes about $23 an hour. And, that's like good pay, but for 10 years of your life, it shouldn't amount up to $23 an hour, I feel like. And, I'd say I'm, smart enough, learn good enough and all that, but, school, it wasn't even like a voluntary dropout. It was like my dad stopped paying the homeschool and my power got shut off. And the struggles of being a dropout and not really having your parents in your life because their own issues, it's a struggle. And luckily, I have a place to stay at the moment, at the time being, but what happens as I get older? What job, and this is questions everybody asks themselves when they're younger, whether they go through school or go through college. What am I going to be doing? What will I have fun doing? What will I love doing? But, I've been thinking on it. What will I love doing? What can I try out to see if I can love? What's in my current capabilities that I maybe would love, because my options are already limited and I have to look in that limited area to figure out what I love. And from the age of 14, I've been doing odd end jobs. There was never, enough money to really go around for the whole for extra gifts or this and that. We got, Christmas presents and all that. Sometimes we struggled a lot of times, and, there was a few times we were doing good, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to have to struggle after going through all this struggle. I want to be doing good. And even sitting here making this video, I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck am I going to do? There's always that thought in the back of your head. Maybe, something simple and easy like YouTube will work and pay off. and then maybe you'll make millions and then be happy ever after. But that's just, and everybody's still poor. No matter if you become rich, everybody else is still poor. Everybody else is still affected. You know, from the age of 14, I was working, you know, I did landscaping, and I was actually making 20 an hour after a raise for a whole summer. And I was rehired on for another summer, but I was moved out of state, so I quit that job. But from 14 to 15 to 16, a lot of work, you know, just working. You know, if you're not going to school and you have the same mindset as me, you're just working to make that money instead of just, well, I wasn't just the one to, you know, be on video games and all that. I was when I was younger, but when I started getting older, it's like, if I'm not in school, I got to be working because the bills don't pay themselves, and I can't just be unproductive. But yeah, I quit McDonald's because, honestly, because I just didn't like it. I mean, I've been having this dilemma of, you know, is there going to be any work that I like doing, or even, you know, that I enjoy? Because it gets to a point, it's like, I'm working these jobs, but it's like, I'm never going to be fulfilled by any of these jobs that I'm working. And so, of course, it's like, yeah, there'll be some sort of, you know, I'll probably find a career maybe in the future that I'll enjoy doing or I'll love. I got something lined out for next Monday that, you know, painting out in Anchorage. We'll see how that works, but the cost of living is fucking high out here. And I don't have any skills, and I don't want to rack up debt. Honestly, I just, you know, this goes for everyone. I think at least everybody wants to have enough money to just live a good life without having to work, or at least do something they love. Because, I mean, just, you see people go on trips, and like the light comes back to them, like their soul comes back when they go on vacation, or they go backpacking for a year, or this and that, and then they go back to their environment, and it's just all sucked right back out of them. And, you know, there's no, you know, that's not for everybody. Some people, you know, got the job they love. But is that possible in 2025? We're at the midpoint in 2025. Is that possible as a high school dropout? You know, I know I got my dad, he never graduated. He was a log cabin builder and did all these odds and end jobs. You know, he could put up a house, you know. And I got my uncle who runs a roofing business, so it's like there's some opportunity, you know, for high school dropouts, but it's like, where do I start? Because you need money to make money, especially in Alaska. So where do I start? You know, that's the question that it like haunts me, like every day. What am I gonna do to make money in the future? And what am I gonna do? But, you know, when I'm broke, it's crazy because I start thinking about the things I could do with no money. And when I'm broke, I also start to think about the things I could do when I had money. But when you're working, you're so distracted by everything, you never really think about any of that. So I've been really broke, trying not to spend any money, because once I have no money, I got no gas, I got no nothing. And I was just thinking, I could just about like how to invest into maybe something that I love to do. Like maybe I would have actually saved enough money up to go out of state and go backpacking for a year. Maybe I should have fixed up my car more, you know, to my liking more. Like get some new windshield wipers that don't fucking only get like a quarter of the fucking windshield, and maybe get a new tail light, because I know I'm gonna get pulled over for that, and I damn sure don't got no insurance. And, you know, my mom cares about me, my dad cares about me. My dad's out of state with my brothers, the rest of my family. My mom, she don't really got, you know, it financially coming to her like that. She's probably gonna get kicked out of her place soon. So, I'm staying with somebody, and if I can't buy food, I know they got me, but at the end of the day, it's like, this isn't, you're, you're like my second cousin, you're 44, like, you have a son, that's cool and all, but, like, how long can I stay here, and how long will it take for me to get my shit figured out? And if some people go to high school, get their their diploma, and come out on top, and, get something started and something good, but why do I see so many people who fucking graduated and have nothing to show for it, who are just aging every day, year by year, and working dead-end jobs? Is it about persistence or the right, affiliates or structure when you're growing up or trying to make money? I don't know, but basically all I got to my name is a $1,700 car that it was given to me broken down and that I fixed up. So it makes me feel slightly less trapped because I can kind of just hop in my car and go places. I was driving it with my permit, but I got my provisional after many years of thinking I'd never get it. So that's something, but it's also, in this society, I'll change my hat around, I just think it's funny, but in the society, when you don't have a high school diplomacy or nothing like that, the world starts to make you, doubt your own, your capabilities. Like, can I, get this job even though it's like paid training? Can I be properly trained, and can I myself, get good at this work? Can I not screw up at a point? Can I get good? And I like to tell myself that with enough persistence, but it's always in my mind, like, that's a job that even if I went to school for, I just couldn't do. But I don't know. My life, when I had the job, it was just kind of work, go home, and then on the weekends, kind of party. But when you got no money and you're kind of just away from your friends for a while, you get to thinking, like, what am I going to do? What am I doing? All these these distractions that slowly bring you down bit by bit, even though in the moment are really fun. I know God, has a better path, but sometimes it's hard to listen to him. And I don't even know what I expect out of this video, but I know there's other people in my situation. I know there's other 16-year-olds, 17, even 18, 19, 20-year-olds who either graduated or didn't graduate, who are got, no idea. And I know we have plenty of time, but it's like, some people never do it in that amount of time. But some people do. I feel like that the system's just not fair. Or it's just maybe some people don't work hard enough. Which my brain wants to tell me the system's not fair, but maybe I'm just not working hard enough. Maybe I don't want it enough. And it's probably the case, honestly. Maybe I just don't want it enough. But honestly, I want a piece of property with a little house and maybe a few animals. I'll be good. And maybe some Jesus, more Jesus in my life. If I can get more Jesus in my life, I'd say that'd be good. I just want to step away from some stress and some worry and enjoy the wilderness. Like, here comes, maybe I'll do some fucking outdoor shit on this YouTube channel. I don't know. I'll do whatever comes to me, and who knows if it'll work out or not. And I'm not even gonna edit this video or cut out all the parts where I'm or not talking, just cause you get the raw emotion. Because I'm Gen Z. I'm the one to fucking scroll TikTok and laugh at the shit like I'm a regular kid. But at the end of the day, sometimes people got more struggle than others. And right now, it's kind of a struggle. I'd say that I've been in a lot more struggle than I am now. But it's always that race of, like, what am I gonna do in the future? Am I gonna just end up homeless? It's a very well possibility. Or am I gonna work a dead end job and not be homeless and scrape by bills? I don't want to do that. I want to get a good paying job that just, honestly, sometimes I just need a job that just apprenticeships me. You know, I've been looking into like electrical and all that shit, but they say you need a high school diploma and all that. And I'm gonna look into getting my GED, but at the end of the day, it's like most of the shit in your high school diploma, depending on what career you go to, you don't even use. Like, you know, depending on what job, you don't use. I mean, the main thing you'll use in pretty much every job is probably some math. And in construction, you know, you'll probably use geometry and all that other shit. But, you know, maybe I just don't want it enough. But I want to find a career that I don't want to kill myself in. I want to find a career that, you know, I could do this every day. Even though I don't like the job that much, you know, I could do this every day. And maybe get up some retirement. But it's like, you work all these years for some retirement, and then you're just old. And then you're just old with money. Now you don't gotta stress. In our young years is when we should be retired now. That doesn't fucking make sense. I don't know. Either way, like, our prime years are the years we should be having fun. You know, just kind of living a little, figuring out who we are and what we like and this and that. And when you're old, like, you've already worked all that, and if you're working a 9 to 5, 5 days a week, 2 days off, you're fucked. Like, you're fucked. Like, I know people make an honest living. Some people even get hour breaks that are paid. Whoa, hour breaks? Oh. This guy looked like a spider. I remember this guy. This guy's, you know, he just sits up there, I guess. But I don't know. It's all, you know, gotta find myself, this and that, but I'm gonna be documenting my journey. I'm gonna be documenting what I do as a 16, nearly 17-year-old to maybe trying to make some money. And, you know, I'll show you what I do in my free time to try and have a little bit of fun. And if I get this job, I'll show you my work. I'll be working 6 days a week. All that. And you know, this video is just a test. If you guys want to see more of my story as a struggling 17-year-old trying to make his way in the world, follow along, because I'll be posting videos. Give me some feedback, because I could edit this, but trying to be unique or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe some people need just commentary in the background or somebody to listen to. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to myself to a camera. I never do this shit, really, but, you know, to tell my story, man, there's a lot more to it. That's just skins the surface. That's kind of just what's going on. And I thank Jesus that I can eat pizza. And I can have a running car for now. That if I get a job that I like, I'll be able to transport to and from. And I could have definitely got pulled over the other day and got my car impounded. The cop was behind me, I was speeding. But he just decided to pull somebody else over that was speeding. He was directly behind me. So praise God for that too. But there's a lot of key points to get to, but this video is nearly 20 minutes long, and I'm going to post this to a random YouTube channel. I'm going to make one. I'm going to name it, and then give me some feedback. You guys want to hear more? Ask me questions. Do a Q&A, or tell me about how's it going with you, or your guys' experience is. Because I know a lot of people around my age kind of are going through the same thing, or have gone through it when they were younger. If you're older now, or anything like that. So just comment section will be open. Give me some feedback, and just stay tuned for the next one. And I will be answering questions in the comments. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Sorry. 20 minutes. There we go.